some interesting news has happened this week, or I was notified of that. Namely, and I hadn't noticed this before, I hadn't heard of this before, Google are sunsetting Google+. It's one of those things that I'm thinking, oh, okay, great, go ahead. That's actually going to be beneficial. Not so much because obviously it'll be a lot less overhead for the guys maintaining it or not maintaining it. It was one of those difficult things historically, Google Plus was, that just happened because I guess Google wanted something that they could control that was like a social network. And I don't quite remember when it actually started. It must have been 2008, 2010, something along those lines. And I remember there was a book by Guy Kawasaki that was called What the Plus, and I believe I've still got it on one of my Kindle devices, and it's in his voice explained what Google Plus was going to be all about and how it's going to be amazingly better than Facebook and Twitter and all the rest of it combined. And I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe Google tried to acquire one of the major social networks, and they were all booming at the time, and it all just came about when Facebook really took off. Before they started taking off, Google wanted a piece of the action essentially, so they tried to purchase several of these things. I believe they were successful and rebranded one of their services Google Plus. I don't exactly remember. There was one that I can't recall. They were eager to get into the social network space, and so they decided to go with Google Plus. And the tragic thing about Google Plus was that everyone was it wasn't introduced as such. People were kind of forced to use it, especially on YouTube. There was this time when YouTube transitioned from being a standalone platform to being integrated with the other Google services, and they were more or less successful with that, but it was extremely cumbersome for a while when a user wasn't necessarily associated with a YouTube channel anymore. So there was this time where YouTube said, okay, we're gonna have to, if you're gonna create a new channel, you're gonna have to create a new channel with a Google Plus page. So that kind of came automatically with it. It was not something that we asked for it to happen, it just happened. And Google said, if you want a YouTube channel, then every YouTube channel now has a Google Plus page, and every time you post a video on YouTube, it also goes on your Google Plus page. And everyone's going, okay, great, now what? Well, the implication was that a channel could be associated with a page, something that's today called a brand account. So that's something that they've changed fairly recently. And it used to be that a user had a user account and they could have a YouTube channel, and then to open a second channel you'd have a second YouTube user. But then soon they realized that maybe more than one user needs access to a YouTube channel. So what they did was they said, okay, you can associate a YouTube channel with a Google Plus page, and then that page and the YouTube channel as well can be managed by more than one person. And that is still possible, but the association with the Google Plus thing is no longer there. So now they're calling these things brand accounts. And if you want multiple managers on a YouTube channel, multiple uploaders, then you can turn your YouTube channel into a brand account, and that brand account can then be accessed by multiple managers. So then you have 2 or 3 people being able to upload or delete videos or edit videos on a single channel. So that was kind of the historic bit about the Google Plus integration there. And it was one of those things that some people used it a lot, and they became rather popular in the Google Plus space. I think I have about 50-60 followers. I really don't know. I've not looked at this forever. Anything I post on Google Plus is a completely automatic system. I have nothing to do with it, and I never really interacted with people on Google Plus, except for, actually there was one guy, I believe from Sweden he was, and he was interested in my Commodore 64 videos, and we had a little chat going on Google Plus, and he had a few basic programs on his Google Plus page, and I thought that was very cool, and so I'm glad I was part of it. But more importantly, Google are now shutting it down. They say for personal use, so personal Google Plus accounts or pages cannot be created anymore. People can still use Google Plus, I believe, until February or something. And I'm talking about this because I find it quite interesting that sometimes you just have to close things down. If they're not working for you, you just pull the plug on them and you say, hey, do you know what? I've tried. It's not quite what I had expected. And rather than this unused thing lingering and lurking around, if you look at the numbers, not so much the accountancy numbers, but if you look at under the bottom line and you say, actually, this isn't worth my while, or this isn't worth my time and effort, or in more esoterically speaking, this isn't aligned with my current energy right now, you can just perhaps get rid of these things. And that's true for clutter, for things that just clutter up your life essentially and are kind of clamoring for attention. Even if it's something that you don't use, if it's there and you know it's there, like this unused Facebook page that you don't really post anything anymore, no one looks at anymore, it's still kind of hanging around. Sometimes it's a great idea to just delete these things and close them down. And I feel reminded of this because recently my mom told me, hey, I've closed my Facebook account. And I thought, really? Wow, that's exciting. That's really cool. Because my mom, she's 65, and a few years ago, 2-3 years ago, she opened a Facebook account because several of her friends were on Facebook, and they said to her, hey, we can also communicate over that, and we can share photos and all that. So she said, hey, why not? Maybe I'll go for it. She was asking me, hey, should I do it? And I said, why not? Try it out, see if it works for you. And it's funny because we haven't really communicated on Facebook much or talked about the idea much, but she just said to me the other day, hey, do you know what? I've closed down my Facebook account. And I thought, hey, wow, that's very cool. You are only the second person that I know of that has ever done that. The other one was my colleague Harfan in London. Her account was hacked at one point, and she decided, you know what, that's it, I'm gonna just close this down. She's still today not on Facebook anymore, and she's still alive and she's doing great. So there we go. There is a life possible without a Facebook account. Just wanted to put that out there. But I think what I like about this attitude, both by my mom and by Harfan and also by Google, is to say, hey, look, if this isn't working, just close it down. Don't let it linger. Don't waste energy onto this. Even if you know this is around, perhaps it's good to just make a break on that. Just draw a line under that. It's impressive. It's something I think I can learn from, and I think I will take this to heart and look at some of my projects that I've created over the years, and they may just not be applicable anymore. Laurie Griffith did the same thing. She has a flourishing YouTube channel, and she's known for her marvelous designer tutorials, and I do watch them occasionally. She's tried to create a new project that wasn't working for her, and she just told us on her YouTube channel, hey, I'm shutting this project down, this game development idea that she had, just to free up some energy, and that can really streamline your life. That's my quick tip for you today.